Heart pounding is when the championship's on the line.
Yeah.
That's when the heart's pounding.
Motorcyclists are 1.5 times more likely to be stolen. Motorcyclists are up to 3 times more likely to be injured in a crash. Motorcyclists are up to 15 times more likely to be killed in a crash.
Sport bike riders have always been looked at as risk takers, daredevils. We talked to ICBC representative Sunny Singera to find out if that is true.
We had about 430 fatalities on the road. 10% of those, 43, were motorcyclists. So if you consider the population of insured motorcycles on the road compared to insured vehicles, you can see it's substantially higher. They're overrepresented in fatalities on the road. The primary reason is, unlike a car, you don't have a bumper, you don't have a big frame around you, you don't have the protection that's afforded by seatbelts or by airbags. You're very vulnerable, you're sitting there. It's basically like putting somebody on the roof of a car and driving around. That's how protected you are when you're on a bike. So if you're involved in a crash, chances are you're going to get injured, and the chances are even higher than if you're in a car that you're going to get killed. So every year we see about 2,000 crashes involving motorcyclists, leads to over 1,200 motorcyclists injured and over 40 motorcyclists killed. You consider that there's probably about 80,000 motorcyclists insured in BC, and they're insured primarily through the summer. Those are some pretty harsh statistics.
Hearing high numbers and statistics is one thing. Trying to understand exactly how it happens is another.
I picked up other people that have crashed in the city, usually due to other people's mistakes, i.e. cars hitting them. A lot of low sunset, low sunrise accidents. I've picked up people that have been paralyzed just from riding Harleys.
We get probably about 150 calls a year for vehicle accidents, and a small percentage of them are motorcycles, but when they are, they're usually pretty brutal accidents. Definitely makes you think about it for sure, because I mean, I get to see exactly what happens if I do ride this highway too fast and hit the rock face. I've seen it a couple of times. It's not a pretty sight. I had my road test at 10:30 a.m. I was approaching a yellow light on Boundary. It's still kind of drizzling outside, roads really wet, and going about 40-45k max with the instructor behind me in the car. I hit my front brake. As soon as I hit my front brake, the rear tire slid out. Bike slid from underneath me and started sliding. I came down, hit my head on the cement, and then hit my shoulder on the cement, and then kind of did a couple tumbles or barrel rolls on the ground.
I actually counted with my buddy last night. I had 15 crashes and 3 motorcycles were gone. 1, 2, 3. 3 hospital visits. One where I flatlined twice, and I had to do a liver bypass. They did a liver bypass surgery. Second ever done in Canada back in 1993.
When tragedy does happen, it affects more than just the accident victims.
He was really close with a lot of my friends. He moved away to school in Ontario 2 or 3 days before he came back. He was biking on a highway and it was raining, and a car in the other lane lost control and hit him, and he was dead on the spot. and I remember having to bring some of my best friends out of classes because to tell them that he was dead, and I just remember the looks on their faces, and it kind of hit a bit home with me because my aunt's fiance, when she was 21, and my dad was really good friends with him too. My dad, when he was 18, he was on his graduating touring Europe trip, and he had to he was called at a hostel and to identify the body because my aunt's fiance had been hit by a truck. I've seen, not for myself so much as I've seen the effects that it has on everyone. My family is just it's traumatized everyone in my family, and it's still a really, really hard thing for them to deal with.
So why do people ride? What drives them to ride?
I think it takes a certain personality type to ride a motorcycle because it's so dangerous in a lot of ways. You have to be a lot more aggressive when you think about things.
The two-wheeled contraption always represented an escape to freedom. I was under my own power. It's part of me. It's part of what defines me as a human being.
Where's the girls?
Yeah?
You know, because you see a guy that might say, that's pretty cool. And then you see the girl in the back. And you know how you see with the listening tag in the ass or whatever it might be in the back, you're like, is that how I get one of those? So I went and got myself a sport bike. Never got the girl, but got the sport bike. And I think it's like anybody, once you start riding, I mean, you ride bikes yourself. Once you start riding, it's like something comes over you, like, man, I gotta have this. And I gotta do it. It gets in your blood. Any motorcycle riding is not that age.
I wanted a motorcycle my whole life. Wasn't allowed to have one when I lived at home. Moved out when I was 20, just didn't get around to it until I was 27. And now I'll have one until the day I die.
Difference between a person who owns a motorcycle and a motorcyclist. Quite simple. People that ride motorcycles, they have them in their garage. They might take them once or twice out a year, or they might borrow one from a friend or whatever. These are people who have access to a motorcycle. That doesn't make them a motorcyclist. People that enjoy the sport of motorcycling, that care for it, that care for their machines, that obey the law, these are motorcyclists. These are people that care about the future of motorcycling, not their own personal future of motorcycling.
With riding this dangerous, what is being done to make it safer? Randy Cook helped by making May Motorcycle Awareness Month.
At the time, I was looking for an opportunity to, as I mentioned before, having lost a friend and whatnot, I wanted to find a way that I could alert motorists and tell motorists that what we as motorcyclists need. I happened to run into a fellow named Peter Jack. He was linked up with a fellow named Jim McMinney, another gentleman called Rob Fenton, and Peter and Rob and I met frequently to discuss what we could do to initiate a motorcycle awareness program in BC. And one of the things was to get those bumper stickers that you often see on vehicles that say, look. That was sort of the biggest bang for the buck, which we didn't have a lot of luck at the time. They put together a proclamation for proclaiming May as Motorcycle Awareness Month in British Columbia. And that was sent off to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, who actually read the proclamation, agreed to it and signed it and sent it back to us. And that's where May as Motorcycle Awareness Program came into being.
Others, including Bill Hitchin, created a stunt school where riders could learn to both stunt and race their motorcycles. This school gave riders a safe environment to ride.
For insurance and the property, that they're happy with that. We're running a school now and we get a place to ride every Wednesday night here, so it kind of worked out good. Basically, when most guys first get a bike, they start riding, it's like, oh my god, I can't wait to ride. And they'll ride anything with two wheels, right? And then you kind of, from there, you go, okay, I want to ride a sport bike, and then I want to ride a dirt bike, and then you ride for a bit, and then you want to, a lot of guys want to go as fast as they can, because that's easy, pull the throttle, see how quick it goes. Then after that, you're like, oh, I've done that. And then you get into corners, and next thing you know, you're buying a race bike, and then once you start racing and stunting in a confined area, that's pretty much the point. Like once you start road racing, don't really street ride that much anymore.
A sport that seems so dangerous is just trying to grow and find safe places to advance itself.
Places like this, as you can see, I drive an hour and a half every Wednesday just to have a safe environment. And then I'm trying to get the sport up in this area. I'm working with Fish, JB, and Crazy Martin and them. And you kind of get older and you kind of like, well, the sport's not going to go anywhere if we're bunch of idiots running around town causing trouble.
It's just so addicting. There's something about it. There's so much stuff to learn. It's a new sport, so you're always learning new stuff that nobody's done before. Broken legs, dislocated shoulders, whatever, concussions.
That doesn't stop you?
It's part of the game. Once you get so far doing this, it's just, you get used to it really good.
As a stunt rider cannot imagine stopping, neither can a racer. Mark Kruger tries to explain why.
You know, it's like, to me, and I think to most of the people, it's like therapy. If you've had a rough day, no matter what's going on in your life, if you get on your bike and you go for that ride, it's like the whole world disappears. Whatever stress you has leaves you. Total therapy. It's like an adrenaline junkie. When I get out on that racetrack, it's like, it's a guy that we all know. And what I call him, Mean Joe Block. He's dead, right? He looks us in the face. Sometimes you get in that tub, you're gonna slip. We all heard the cliches, right? Slip in the tub and die. Go on our place, go on the course, go on the plane. Mean Joe Blacks always knew me. When you go to the racetrack, you can see him every corner you go into. And the thrill of looking him in the face and saying, show me what you got. I'll show you what I got. And then when you finish the race, it's like, before I go to the race, I have diarrhea, my stomach gets all upturned, because I know I'm about to go out there. So once I put the helmet on and go on the racetrack, everything leaves me. My anxiety, everything. But then this mean, aggressive, ruthless person comes out. It's like you put the helmet on, it's like, okay, off you go. And you know that you'll do whatever it takes, and you risk your life out there. Before that, you don't want to risk your life. When you get out there, I'll do whatever it takes. And I've even said that in my helmet. I don't care if I die, I'm gonna pass this on the beach. The whole world disappears, the track disappears, everything disappears except for myself and that bike in front of me. How can I get by that guy? Where is he weak? It's like a game of chess is how it is. If this guy's weak here, you know where I'm going. I'm gonna be on there.
Why ride on the track then?
The advantages of the racetrack, once a person's been on the racetrack, most of them, I'm gonna say half of them, don't return to the street. The racetrack is a road. It's a controlled road, no gravel, no cars, no pedestrians, no cops. And guess what? Everybody's going the same direction. Everybody has the same rules to abide by. If they don't abide by the rules, they're not there.
With safe places to ride for the racer and the stunt rider, what can a street rider do?
Now that I'm scared of death, I've slowed down quite a bit.
Because I want him to, I want to kind of watch him grow up. So I care about myself, I care about him, and I care about my family enough to really try to focus on staying alive. Plus, I'm scared of death, right? I'm an old man, and I'm scared of Mr. Grim Reaper. And I just don't, I'm not sure I'll go to heaven, and I'm not ready to go to hell yet. I gotta make amends before I'm ready to die.
Is it future rider, you think?
I hope not.
Yeah? Why's that?
This is dangerous. And I went through a lot, and I'm very, very lucky. Very, very lucky just to be here.
If you wanted to learn to ride, would you let him?
Yeah, because that was one of the main reasons why I died and flatlined the VGH and had all sorts of problems, because no one let me and no one showed me.
So who is the best rider? A stunter, a racer, a teacher, or the street rider?
In group rides and stuff, that you think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to show you up. They're going off the front to try to show you up to, who's the best rider.
Yeah.
On the street, there is no such thing as the best rider. You know who the best rider is? The best rider is the rider that makes it home at night.
As dangerous as riding is, there will always be those who choose to ride. We can help by creating a safe environment to let them ride in and hoping they all choose the safe path home.